Hello and welcome to newslaundry.com. Today we have with us Neha Sehgal, Associate Director of Research at the Pew Research Center. On the 29th of June, the Pew Research Center published a report titled Religion in India, Tolerance and Segregation. It's Pew's most comprehensive study outside America, where Pew is based, and Neha is co-author of this study, which has uncovered the contradictory character of religion in India. The media really ran with this report. There were lots of debates. There were lots of pieces written. So I was wondering if you'd be willing to comment on the kind of interpretation that it got in the media. Do you think that the media did a good job interpreting the report? Because I saw a lot of these debates, and it seemed as if people were either ecstatic with it or they were devastated by the findings. So could you just give me your thoughts on what you think the media could improve when it comes to dealing with studies such as this one, or what do you think that they do well already?
Sidharth, it's hard to comment on the media as a whole, and the India media market, better than me, is so vast. And there are so many different outlets that have different ideological stances as well. So it's not unusual in India or in any country around the world for media outlets to pick different angles, right, from the storyline. So a particular outlet may choose to emphasize what they perceive to be good news about tolerance in India, and another outlet may choose to emphasize what they perceive to be as bad news about tolerance in India.
Can you elaborate on some of the findings about caste and religious discrimination? And in addition to that also, there's a lot of regional variation in the way people respond. So, even North and South India side, maximum discrimination is felt in the Northeast. So could you also talk about how, if there is a possibility of the word discrimination in the questionnaire being interpreted in different ways, basically in different places?
For a survey researcher, when someone says that they don't feel that there is widespread religious discrimination in India or caste discrimination in India, we report their answers as is. We take them at their word. We report their answers as is. But what we have to remember is that they're offering a perception, right? And there can be many reasons for this perception. And one possible reason that they could be saying there isn't widespread discrimination in India is based on their personal experience. That could be the case. It could also be based on what they think is discrimination. One really interesting finding for the caste discrimination numbers is the higher share of people in the South who say that there is widespread discrimination based on caste in India, or Dalits in the South who say that in the last 12 months they have been personally discriminated against. Now, this is for people in the South quite counterintuitive, because the South has had an historical anti-caste movement. So why is it that people in the South are saying there is widespread discrimination in India? So we can look at it a couple different ways.
One of the questions was about cricket and its relationship with national identity. How important do people think that supporting the Indian national cricket team is for being a true Indian? And a majority of the people seem to agree. So a lot of the people could say that, well, I mean, what does that have to do with religion, etc., etc. So could you just walk me through the process of creating a questionnaire for such a comprehensive analysis?
Our goal is to present Indian public opinion in the right context. And the right context for that particular finding about Hinduism and national identity is that people generally say that respecting all religions is central to Indian identity. At the same time, they also give importance to Hinduism and national identity. Right? Similarly, if we were to talk about opinions on cricket, we would talk about that in the context of their other attitudes, right? On how important is it to respect Indian institutions and laws, right? Which is by far more important to people than having loyalty to the cricket team. So for any analyst that's looking at the data, I would encourage you for that particular battery not to cherry pick particular questions, but to analyze public opinion in its entirety.
I saw a lot of these debates, and I saw one person who was saying that still making, I think, that same old criticism, which I think that has been made usually of most surveys done in India. The sample size isn't big enough. 29,999 people, just one shy of the poetry of 30,000. But still, that's a massive number for face-to-face interviews, all of which were 45 minutes long. And I believe that there were 600 people on the field, some 400 interviewers and 200 supervisors. That's a very big project. And so what was the daily trudge of putting this survey together, and to what extent did you get to interact, really? Did you get to interact with these 30,000 people? And are there some people or some moments that stand out?
The test interviews were just fascinating. I mean, we had this one lady who we interviewed, and the interviewers conducting the interview, she talked at length, about, and for every answer, she would answer the question, and then she would go on to give a detailed explanation, about her history and why she answered the way she did, and, about her neighborhood and everything. I mean, she just seemed so eager to talk about this particular issue. It was the middle of the afternoon. Her husband wasn't home, and, so it's a good time, to catch her. And at the end of the interview, she still wanted to keep talking. So I stayed with her for a little while, just to, get her pace. I learned a lot from, hearing from people in the field. So she's telling me about the price of onions in Punjab, and what the price is. She asked me where I'm from. I said I'm from Delhi. She asked me, what's the price of onions in Delhi? So she's just talked to me about interfaith marriage, caste, and now she's talking about onions, and she's just as eager to share her opinion. Right? So, religion is a topic that I just am constantly humbled, right, in the field, because religion is a topic. It's as close to your heart as onions, right? Like, onions is central to Indian cooking. Religion is central to Indian life.
Mufat khoro, muft mein itna hi milega. To watch the full unedited interview, you have to subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free. Because when the public pays, the public is served. We depend on you and not on advertisers. So go to www.newslaundry.com/subscription and subscribe, and get all our unedited interviews, our special video shows, comics, and everything that's behind the paywall. Remember, to subscribe to News Laundry, you pay just about 10 rupees a day. That's less than, a cigarette. And smoking is injurious to health. So subscribe and watch the full interview.
We, being an independent platform, depend on our readers, viewers, and listeners. Support independent media by subscribing to News Laundry. Go to newslaundry.com, click on the subscribe button at the top, and pay to keep news free.